Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about Roseanne and what could be our final video about her. Unfortunately, unless something else pops up in the news, today I was planning on making the final review video of the last episodes of Roseanne's new revival season. Now, obviously, a few big developments have happened since last week's reviews. Like what we went over in our video a couple days ago, Roseanne was recently fired by ABC for making an offensive, off-color joke on Twitter. She has since apologized and even explained that, quote, "Guys, I did something unforgivable, so do not defend me. It was 2 in the morning and I was Ambien tweeting. It was Memorial Day too. I went too far and do not want it defended. It was egregious, indefensible. I made a mistake. I wish I hadn't, but don't defend it, please." She cited Ambien again in a later tweet as well, saying, "Not giving excuses for what I did, tweeted, but I've done weird stuff while on Ambien, cracked eggs on the wall at 2 a.m., etc. This does explain a lot. I had previously suspected she was drunk or high or something, and Ambien sure makes a lot of sense now that I hear it. Not to fully excuse her or anything. I don't want to defend her since she doesn't want to be defended, but people do some wacky things on sleeping medication, sleepwalking, sleep cooking, and even breaking things in the house and people driving their cars. Things like that totally happen. So hearing someone fired off a couple tweets on their mobile phone shouldn't be that out of the question either. But alas, the left-wing joke police Gestapo has no room for forgiveness for Rosie, even though their allies have said much worse, like Bill Maher comparing Trump to an orangutan, and Roseanne's head writer herself who quit after her tweets, Wanda Sykes, she even ironically compared Trump to an orangutan in her stand-up special.
I couldn't believe that Donald Trump won. I couldn't believe that we elected an orangutan to run the country. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you fucking kidding me? They voted for an orangutan? This is ridiculous.
But obviously to them, it's only racist when Trump supporters do it. Or I guess when Trump supporters do anything, it's racist, I guess. We can't get away with anything. So, with that said, make no mistake here. Roseanne is a representative of Trump in television, and ABC is exploiting this whole situation with her on Twitter as a way to lash out at Trump indirectly by taking down the show of his proxy, Roseanne. Regardless of the controversial tweets and Roseanne's cancellation, let's get back to her show. We still have 2 episodes of this recent season to go over here. Let's go ahead and get started with the penultimate episode called Netflix and Pill, which coincidentally has to do with pills and medication, just like how the real Roseanne mentions taking Ambien. I'm sure she brought it up for a reason here too, so let's check it out and see what's up.
I want somebody to make a toast.
I'll do it.
Oh, pipe down, everyone. Forrest Gump's talking.
Things start off in an anniversary dinner for Roseanne and Dan. They're celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary with their kids at the Mexican restaurant Becky works at. By the end of dinner, Dan's paying and the kids suggest they use their rewards points on their credit card to buy something to celebrate. So Dan goes ahead and books them a night at a hotel in the city with a baked ham to go with it to boot. Looks like the Connors are moving up in the world, or so they think.
All right. I'm booking it, and as my anniversary present to you guys, I'll babysit the kids.
It's not babysitting when they're yours.
The next day, Roseanne wakes up and some of her pills are missing. She's got a bad knee and has been taking pain medication for it for a while now. And this, of course, not only reflects the real Roseanne and her recent claims of being on pills herself, like Ambien, while she got in trouble on Twitter. Well, not only that, but we're also addressing the opioid epidemic problem in America. People getting overprescribed pills left and right out there. And there's loads of senior citizens getting hooked on this stuff too. And, well, now, it looks like Roseanne is one of them.
Are you sure you didn't take more than you thought?
If I was taking hands full of these pills, I'd be in a way better mood. Have you noticed me in a way better mood, Dan?
Next, the family friend Crystal comes in on her way to work at the casino. She's wearing a pretty revealing cocktail waitress outfit for an old lady, but that's okay because today is her last day at the job. Crystal's retiring and on her way out, she offers to give a recommendation for Darlene so she can work there at the casino place after she's gone. Darlene quickly refuses this though, but Dan suggests she think twice since jobs are hard to come by and, of course, Darlene is a single mother with 2 kids to feed. You gotta take what you can get at this point, Dee.
If I take this waitress job, I'm just giving up completely.
What are you going to do if your kids get sick? Write about it?
Well, we've managed so far.
You've been lucky. One emergency can wipe you out. You know what I'd give right now to have full coverage for your mother's knee? Sometimes you just got to suck it up and put your family first.
Later that night, Dan and Roseanne go to their hotel getaway to check in, but the hotel worker is asking for their credit card for incidentals. Unfortunately, they don't have a working credit card at the moment, so they are forced to leave the hotel and go back home. Sad and annoying, but it is true that hotels have become even worse sticklers about this bullshit in recent years. What's up with that? The celebrating couple decide to take their party back home, where they can at least enjoy their very much anticipated honey-baked ham. After a few drinks, Dan begins to realize Rosie is a lot more drunk than him. He gets worried and finds out she's been mixing her pills with the alcohol, which has gotten her way too wasted.
What the hell, Rose? You only had a couple of drinks.
Well, it's not my fault. The champagne on the Vicodin should say, "Do not take with label."
Another eerie reference to the real Roseanne and her recent drunken, pill-fueled tirades on Twitter. Perhaps she saw this coming in a way, and unfortunately Rosie didn't take her own advice in this episode. I guess the moral of this story got past the real Roseanne, and that's part of the reason why she got into trouble this week. The next morning, Dan confronts Roseanne on her pill problem, after he finds a number of extra bottles of them stashed around the house. They decide changes need to be made, and Roseanne needs to get off pills ASAP. Dan pushes for Roseanne to get the surgery on her knee too, which they have been putting off because of the high cost. But now, with Roseanne's life at risk from pill popping, they've got no choice but to go for it and pay for the surgery at any cost.
Where are we going to get $3,000 for the deductible?
Look, if it's between you ODing and me coming up with the money, I'll figure out something. In the meantime, I'll give you one pill every 6 to 8 hours for post-operative pain. What the hell? Are you sure Marcy Bellinger doesn't need these?
So, as it turns out, this episode is more relevant now than ever, not just because of the very real, very serious opioid epidemic sweeping our nation, but also because, in light of recent events, it appears Roseanne Barr herself may have some issues with pills and drinking. This episode also leads right into the next finale episode of the season, called Knee Deep, which also could be the last episode of Roseanne ever, after her fall from grace this week on Twitter, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. The season finale begins with Roseanne stuck in the bathroom, yelling for help from Dan because her knee went out. Dan saves the day, for now. But the couple goes on to talking and worrying about Roseanne's upcoming knee surgery, which they still can't pay for. Dan decides he has to do whatever it takes to get the next construction job offer he can find, including hiring illegal immigrants as his workers. Because not only is it a tough time for the Connor house, it's also a tough time for America, and it looks like Dan's prepared to do whatever it takes to survive. Next, Darlene has a scene with her sister Becky, who has some interesting advice for her new waitressing job. Darlene hasn't been getting the best of tips, so Becky gives her a push-up bra and tells her to be nicer and to flirt more. Showing off the goods helps too. Again, we're seeing that the Connors and middle Americans, they've become so desperate for work that they're being forced to sacrifice their dignity and their principles, and soon their friendships, just to survive. You see, Dan typically works with his best friend, this black guy, but because of the lower cost of illegal labor and the scarcity of jobs, Dan is being forced to jeopardize his friendship with token black guy. In order to provide for his family and pay for Roseanne's surgery, Dan needs to hire illegal immigrants instead of his friend. And as if things can't get worse for the Connor family, next we see Dan is at home making the unfortunate discovery that their house is flooding. The whole town is getting water damage, in fact, which seems to only further worsen the Connor family's failing situation. And if you didn't know, floods are real things people in middle America have to deal with sometimes. I'm from Illinois myself, like the Connor family, and I remember a couple of bad storms in my years there too, that flooded cities and even people's houses like in this Roseanne story. True story. It's some real shit.
Well, Dan, look it. After 40 years, we finally got a pool.
Fortunately, the Connor family gets a small win at the last second here. As they gather in the living room, waiting out the storm, the family sees on the news that the president may be close to declaring a state of emergency there. This means things have gotten real bad, sure, but it also means the government will be helping them out, sending in federal aid, and even paying people to help fix their houses. This is where Dan gets an idea.
But if they declare a state of emergency, FEMA will give us some money to repair the basement. I can do it for half of what they give us and use the rest for Rose's knee.
Whoo! State of emergency! State of emergency!
And sure enough, the state of emergency is declared. The Connor family finally has a plan that could work and save the whole house and family in the process. The president, presumably Trump, gets one last mention from Darlene here.
Whoa. The president spelled Illinois wrong in his tweet, but it still counts, right?
Probably a joke about Trump's excessive use of Twitter. And of course, the actress playing Darlene, Sarah Gilbert, is a big libtard, so she probably couldn't help herself from making this jab on the show. In the end, the state of emergency came through, and the family will have enough money to fix the house and pay for Roseanne's surgery. But as it gets closer, Roseanne really starts to worry about going to the hospital.
Kind of scared about the surgery, Dan.
Oh, come on. It's a good hospital. Your doctors won every lawsuit.
I know, but I just don't want to die. I don't want to go anywhere without you.
Fortunately, she's got Dan there to support her, like always. And perhaps this part of the show is symbolic too. Like with the pills being a real problem the real Roseanne dealt with, so too is her character's death, which is what's being suggested as highly possible in this episode. And it's something we've seen actually happen at ABC. Roseanne has died, so in a way, she was right to be scared here in this final moment of the episode. And Roseanne Barr was right to be scared too, because like how Roseanne Connor has been flirting with her mortality, so too has Roseanne Barr been dealing with the possible death of her character and the show Roseanne. And of course, unfortunately, Roseanne was right to be scared, because as of now, the Roseanne show on ABC has been canceled. It's dead, and probably won't be coming back again ever. While it's possible the show could get picked up elsewhere, or Roseanne could do a new series altogether, whatever may happen, I'm afraid it will never be the same. And that's why, like this episode, this video will also be ending on a more sad and somber note. The end of Roseanne is the end of an era, and while I guess we should just be happy we got what we got, the revival season was a nice and pleasant surprise. Despite that though, I can't help but wonder what other great episodes we could have seen had things went a different way. What do you guys think? Was Roseanne on Ambien when she made those controversial tweets that got the show canceled? Was the pill popping episode some kind of secret cry for help for her? And do you think we'll ever see more episodes of the Roseanne show one day? Comment your thoughts and everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.